about bingo operations in
Well,
cities and Jefferson County?
let me just say, the county attorney has already advised us this morning in terms of what the state law, in terms of the Constitution, says about bingo. And with that, I'm going to leave that as just, it's a legal matter. I believe that the county attorney has advised us as a commission in terms of what that looks like. I will tell you this, as it relates to the local municipalities, according to what I was told this morning, there is a provision in the law that allows local municipalities to be able to govern themselves accordingly as it relates to bingo. And that's where I'm going to leave it. One of the things that I do not want to begin to do as a commissioner is to either question our county attorney in terms of the law as it is clearly stated, or to question the sheriff and what his priorities are, or both. So that's just where I'm going to leave that.
But you seem like you were concerned about the image of the sheriff and the talk about his brother who has been paid for and got.
Well, I'm not concerned about the image of the sheriff as much as I'm concerned about Jefferson County and our image in terms of how we look at the law, how we comply with the law. That is my only concern. I will say that as we move forward, the county attorney has already said by this Thursday, he will provide in writing to the commission in terms of what the state law, which is the Constitution, that is providing these local municipalities to be able to operate bingo. Otherwise, I just think that we're on a witch hunt. I will tell you that we must be very careful in how we look at the priorities of our county and our county's needs. One of the things that I have said as a commissioner, that I'm always going to be in touch with the needs of my district, and we're going to lawfully do that. That's why I kept insisting today that I got a legal answer as opposed to my personal opinion.
Do you have concerns? The Attorney General has indicated he wants them shut down, and apparently, as he says, there is an, as he calls it, ongoing criminal investigation going here.
Well, what I will tell you is that anytime you have the state attorney general that is that interested in bingo, it sounds more political in nature than it does about bingo itself. That's very interesting. I mean, we're coming out of the cusp of a bankruptcy settlement that had no attorney general involvement, and I think that that was probably one of the most injustice that could have been done in present day form. But by the same token, we're arguing over something like bingo with the issues that we have right now. That's just that's very telling to me.
You mentioned that you've talked to Sheriff Petway about bingo. Can you talk to us about your conversation?
Well, that conversation was before any of these licenses had been granted to these individuals. And basically what he was saying was that he was looking to be able to put in his own budget some of the things that he'd like to see in terms of resource officers, providing more deputies to the schools. I mean, there were earmarkings that he wanted to be able to have as relates to bingo. And other than that, you know, I think as we move forward, maybe that's a question that can be posed to the sheriff. You know, he can talk about some of the desires from the monies that are to be received. But other than that, I think as a commissioner, my job is to make sure that we're complying with the law.
So just to clarify, the sheriff's office is receiving money from the bingo?
No. I was saying what the sheriff wanted to do, which was to talk to us, and as a commission, really, which goes back to what our county attorney was talking about earlier, we have the provision within the law that allows us as a body to say, if you're in unincorporated Jefferson County, we can then govern what happens from the commission perspective. If in fact you are a municipality, it was also stated in today's meeting that then they have their own ordinances, which is a provision within the law, the same law. So that was the reason why I wanted to make sure we got that clarity today, what a municipality can do versus what the commission has the right and the authority to govern.
But the sheriff was clear, if he would like to see benefits coming off bingo for his office, such as hiring.
Well, let me just say this. Anytime you have gambling, whether it was with the Chuck E. Cheese law, the 777, which gave municipalities $0. if you're going to engage in anything, I don't care if it's a lottery, then there should be a benefit to the residents. If the citizens are not getting a benefit, then basically as a government body, you're just collecting taxes. And so it's more of a profit for that government than it is for the residents in terms of the benefits. And I think that that's not what he wanted. You know, the whole intent behind it was that if it was going to go forth through the commission, let me be very specific, he was asking for unincorporated Jefferson County for us to be able to make a decision about it. Now, what we cannot do as a county commission is to override that of the municipal government, which that is Constitutional Amendment 368, according to what our county attorney advises of this morning.
What did the county attorney, we were late to the meeting, what was his findings on bingo in the county?
Well, basically what he said is that, if my memory serves me correctly, and I put it on my notes, I think it was Constitutional Amendment 680, if my memory serves me correctly, that originally it gave the sheriff the authority to be able to regulate bingo, okay? But then there was the same law at the same time that was passed, and I think he said that that was like 360 or 368, something like that, that says that no, the municipalities have the right to govern in terms of bingo, not the sheriff. So it basically, one voided out the other, is what I heard this morning.
Commissioner, am I understanding that, particularly in the case of cities like Fairfield, Brighton, Lipscomb, that are financially challenged, that, not to put words in his mouth or his head, that the sheriff perhaps is looking at bingo as a means of supplementing his sheriffs, his deputies in terms of, say, patrolling those municipalities?
Absolutely, and let me just say this. We want to say that we're providing a service governmentally. What we have to understand and make our constituents understand, it costs money. And the only way that we're going to, for example, if you speak of a Fairfield that right now has less than 10 officers on duty, to my knowledge, well, the citizens still need public safety. So how do you provide that through what we call the Crime Centers Initiative? How do you supplement that? Well, you've got to pay deputies. And as a matter of fact, those cities have to engage in a contract with our county government. If they don't have the money to pay, where are they going to get it from? And that's why I think that it's so important that for us to have a complex issue such as this, that the public needs to have a clear understanding. I don't think anyone wants to break the law. As a matter of fact, many people use it as a form of recreation, but they don't want to unlawfully do it. And I don't think that the county is speaking to such. And I think that when you have your county attorney, and then you have the local municipalities, if they're issuing these licenses, we must make the public aware. It's not the county that is issuing those licenses, it is their local government.
Thank you, Commissioner.
That it?